Travel with me in sound. Let's transmit. Receive me. Converge mind and consciousness. Contain bliss and adventure into space. As the fourth dimensional properties contain thought, let's form and develop in dream the substance of flight. As the gates of heaven open, hell is no more but an experience. Earth becomes the material plane in trial and error, no longer of judgment but of evolution. Now we are soul energy, eternal, forgiving. In love, we heal, never to fall again. As we are the angels, we must learn from the original sin, and therefore clarify that we never fell and that heaven was always here. Yet we have not fallen from the grace of God. We are not sinners, just experiencers, as our God genes have been deactivated for us to activate them through good acts and mental evolution. Good acts increase spiritual power, and it is a daily business. The devotion to mental ascension is knowledge and wisdom in its application. However, these acts are physical and primal, and therefore the rewards are concrete and of survival. Since the pinnacle of evolution is based on materialistic success, corruption is its determinant, and corruption does not include spiritualism. So we push God away. We push our hearts in pain and leave love to only but moments in life. We are not living in a world of sin. Sin is what we make it. And in learning morals, we ascend emotionally, in soul, into a very different enlightenment process. As the two evolve, along with IQ, into our higher beings, we, the human race, return to God. The global consciousness beckons awareness and unveils itself as magic. So it returns when we discover and reveal that God is a universal force and not only a cultural one. Please give me 2 interviews to clarify this, or 2 of your choosing. Or if it may, just turn on the TV and tune into a world of sanity. We journey individually. Belief from every religion now becomes a distinguishing heartbeat in God. Love with no borders means love has no colors, but now contains all colors. And that culture is wonderful, like food for thought. As individual beliefs harnesses belief energy, a very pure and potent energy. As described, if live, or L-I-V-E, is spelled backwards, it now becomes its adversary, or dark side, in yin and yang, as it spells evil. So in reality, if life is love, then pain is learning. Therefore, sin is only sin if we do not learn from it. Nothing in this very special time is accident. We are entering into a new age, and as such, change will become a special obstacle that will enlighten knowledge. We will experience together the pains and joys of learning and evolution. When good deeds that produce positive karma every day are positive or negative, much like the needs to sustain calories, to sustain positive levels, that can be very hard to do sometimes. We ignore what we feel and continue to ignore everything in the world, and it desensitizes our feelings and thoughts. And if you continue with the readings in the interviews noted as Q or beginning as Q, you'll understand why we forget. Uh, in effect, cancel out our connection to heaven, not God. When we are at this point to look to God, we are better off playing the lottery, as destruction to our planet is the reason why God waits until we start to act responsibly as caretakers of this planet. I mean, they have done very much that. They've sent avatars to come and die for us. They've sent prophets to come and warn us. Even some prophets that have predicted the future very accurately. You can't expect people to get things 100%. And when that is ignored, then it's like saying, well, you know what, I'm going to choose a guy from MIT who's like has an 80 percentile. And then people are saying, you know what, it's not good enough. It has to be 100. That doesn't make any sense. For me, if someone's over 75%, they're very reliable. I mean, the meaning of evolution is to change, adapt, and learn from experiences which are mistaken. And in God's case, they're not mistaken, but they need to be bettered. Well, we need to better ourselves. And one thing God would not do is to pollute the planet. And in thinking that, then you must also understand, as anything and everyone, if we are angels, and we are angels, and we must accept certain things, such as learning and evolution, and then God becomes more than just something that we look to or ask things for. It becomes part of our lives and part of eternity, which makes us forever. We really have 48, not 46 chromosomes. The two that somehow have disappeared is a genetic impossibility. Evolution always downsizes and optimizes, but in terms of information, DNA is always upgraded. Because we are spiritual, or angels, these two chromosomes have been deactivated, as they are subatomic and therefore hiding in weight. Does that explain why we have two less all of a sudden, and why we can't be connected to God for some reason? But they're still there. Therefore, we would not have shelved a sixth sense, or Mother Nature would not have provided us one, which actually everyone on the planet has, all creation, when it was there to help us survive. As it says in the Bible, we could talk to the earth, and we could talk to all the creatures. Somehow, technologically got deactivated, but how can you explain that to someone? They can only understand it as the kingdom of heaven was taken from us. And of course you're going to feel guilty. Like, what do? I mean, a teacher comes and teaches you, and then they leave you there to learn on your own, and then they come back and teach you. It's the same idea. And because we are not using this sixth sense, we cannot survive in a realm where sensing of energy is vital. However, we still use it to some small degree. For example, if someone is looking at us or tries to sneak up on us, at the highest of levels, we know what the other person is thinking. And at the highest of levels, we know what they're thinking or doing. And this is in other cases, and not guessing what they're thinking. Also sensing, as sometimes we can complete people's sentences. Also sensing accidents or avoiding bad vibe people. The scripture says that the ESP experiences are demonic. Then everyone is guilty. Because it says in the King James Bible, or if it is the Old Testament, I believe, there are pictures of black people, white people, brown people with flames over their head, and they said that they were in communion. and then all of a sudden it got taken away. Yahweh took it away. Well, it's because the stargates and the amplification field was taken away, and we're in the Kali Yuga, which is lower power, less power source. So in essence, we adapt to this lower vibration by turning off the higher processes. Because if there's less energy, then you have to work harder to reach that state. And we did that as another reason, which I'll explain later, why it shelved. I think you have to look at 21 and 31, and then 30, and then 20, and then 20 to understand why. Interviews. Those are the interview numbers. So then, if we use ESP, then I guess everyone's guilty. I guess, or everyone is more special and spiritual in power. As the saying goes, the truth will set you free. But where it betrays us is when anything spiritual happens, like seeing a ghost or experiencing ghosts, seeing the future, sensing accidents. Even remembering dreams is what deja vu really means. So when you go to sleep and you remember something, deja vu, it's something that happens in the present, when actually it's something that had happened in the past life. But keep in mind, in a world that only includes 3 dimensions, we only see past, future, and present. But we don't even see the present. We have to guess it, the future, I mean. We have to guess the future. But when you dream, you see the future. And in the future, you also see a future life. And that's what happens when destinies can't intermingle, because when you meet someone, you fall in love with them, and it's something that can't be, it's a future destiny. If it's a past destiny that has not been fulfilled, then you end up being with that person, because love makes things happen. But deja vu can be past, present, and future. So that can only happen if you incorporate a 4th dimensional mind frame. And then you can understand that everything could happen all at one time. But then the reason why this can't happen is because we're stuck by the chains of destiny, which you have to read the 4 mandatory destinies, which are 5, 6, 7, and 8. And in doing so, you can understand how to break free of these destinies, because you have obligations to your family, to your friends, to yourself, and to the rest of the world before you can break free and ascend and enlighten yourself. When you're enlightened, then you can do God's work, so to